Greetings, I present to you the SMK, the Sentinel's Marvelous Kaleidoscope, at CFRU 93.3 FM in Guelph, Ontario, through the web on CFRU.ca, and live streaming on CFRU's YouTube channel. I am your Master Overseer, Nicholas Cooper. We will be looking inward and beyond to progressive rock, the branches of progressive, fusion, and alternative genres, and atmospheric anomaly, and other unique discoveries near and far. Join me as we gaze into the audible lens out of the diverse musical landscape on the ever-changing horizon. Welcome, my good centuries, to an audience in the Observational Tower, the live music and interview series that I conduct through the Sentinel's Marvelous Kaleidoscope here at CFRU 93.3 FM. Today, we are skewed the focus, our gaze upon these extremely marvelous lads who are my first international music guests ever on the SMK, having come from across the vast waters of the Atlantic Ocean to tour in Eastern Canada. Gives me great pleasure to introduce Atlas Empire.
It's Sparta, and I'm not going back to what's an offer. A common sense tumbler to you. Everywhere you stole them from my lips. This is how it's supposed to feel to be lost at sea. We'll become castaways with everything we have known. It's torture. of the empty space. We're not done. You and I have washed away. You cast away. From the side. We are was washed away. Of the empty space. And we're not done. And you cast away. The side of the empty space. We're not done. Cast away. Cheers.
Amazing, guys. That was Atlas Empire with Our Hands Part the Waves. I guess we have less time now than before to do some interview questions, but hopefully we'll get some juicy information about you guys to relay to our good centuries.
Okay, let's do the quickfire round then.
I guess I've already mentioned, and you've mentioned that you're from Scotland. Where exactly are you guys from?
Well, we're based in Glasgow. We're all from Steve and I are from kind of around Glasgow, not in it. Robert is Michaelis, but he's from Canada. He's from Toronto.
Yeah, he's the Canadian connection here.
He's actually from Dundee, which is in the northeast coast of Scotland. He just pretends to be from Canada. He's actually from Dundee. That's Dundee, Scotland. No, he's from Canada. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I guess I've never been to Scotland myself, and like my dad actually went when he was younger to see. I've seen pictures of him going through, seeing all the castles there.
Nice.
And why don't you paint me a picture of where you of Glasgow for us, like a quick one. Sketch.
A quick picture of Glasgow. Grey buildings, rain, drunk people,
friendly people, vomit flowing through the streets. No, it's a cool city. Like, all of us kind of gravitated to there for music and the life there. So myself and Jamie from other towns in Scotland, Simon from Poland, Rob from Dundee / Canada. So yeah, it's cool. It's a very lively and a very friendly city. There's lots of cool architecture and art and culture. But we've lived there for a long time, so obviously we prefer coming here because Canada's better. But that's maybe just grass is always greener on the other side type scenario.
I can't underestimate the rain. It's
yeah,
horrible.
it does rain a lot.
I was gonna also go on to that. How is the music scene in, I guess, Glasgow or Scotland in general?
It's pretty varied. It's pretty eclectic. There's lots of little kind of sub scenes. So there's a really predominant sort of trad music scene, I guess, and folk. Then there's also a big kind of hardcore scene. That's still a thing in Glasgow. Who knows? But that's still going. There is kind of like a prog scene and a post-rock and math rock scene that's pretty close-knit. And that's sort of gone in waves over the last bunch of years because we've been doing this with various other members for so long, we've kind of been through a few waves of that scene.
All right.
And now I kind of think we, through no choice of our own, kind of exist out with it. But there are still some really cool bands in that scene in Glasgow.
Do you want to throw out some prog bands that you play with?
From Glasgow?
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
Oh, yeah, be careful. Yeah, be careful
Sorry,
with the
my bad.
language.
Okay. Yeah, some cool bands from Glasgow. We're friends with a band called Vasa, kind of math rock band. A band called Versemetrics, who are kind of like indie math rock. What else? What else is going on? Putting you in the spot.
Don't put me in the spot. I just work in a music venue.
Okay. He's perfectly positioned to answer this question.
And somehow can't. And now all these people that I'm just like, what are you doing? What are you doing with your life that you keep missing this?
There's lots of cool bands. You played Parliament Owls. They're friends of ours from Toronto, so you played them before us. So
oh yeah, Parliament Owls.
those guys are awesome. They're not from Glasgow, but they're wicked.
Well, a lot of the time we play shows out with Glasgow, so we don't play with as many Glasgow bands as we used to.
Okay. Why don't we get into the history of the band? When and how did the band start up?
But 2011, myself and Stephen were working, had done a bunch of other projects together. We just came out of one that we were not happy with, decided we were going to start something new and only do music we liked with people that we liked. And yeah, it just birthed from there.
Yeah, we've managed to deviate off that plan at points, but yeah, that was kind of the general idea. I think Jamie and I had both played in different sort of styles of bands growing up, but had some common interests, and the bands we were into individually that we introduced each other to kind of informed the sound of Atlas Empire when it first started. There was a lot more electronics. The initial plan was not to have a live drummer, which quite quickly we realised we were going to be allowed.
No, the initial plan was not to have a live bass player.
Or drummer.
I thought we were always going to have a drummer.
Okay. Well, apparently we can't remember because it's that long ago. So
and
yeah.
we are old.
What was that?
But yeah, then from there we had several lineup changes, and then a few years ago Robert weaseled his way into the band.
Charmed. I like to say charmed. Rob doesn't have a microphone, so this is glorious.
So, yeah,
we
it's
can
great.
just say whatever we want.
Normally he'll override any conversation, but the fact he's not got a mic is
It's beautiful.
It's
great.
great.
It's a beautiful thing. You stay there. You stay there. You stay there. It's fine.
He's fuming. He's like,
Yeah,
I've got so many things to say.
I know. I apologise for my bad language. That was terribly Scottish of me. I'm just excited and warm. I'm really warm. It's warm in here.
Yeah, actually, you can't see in the green screen, but it's a vinyl library in there.
That's amazing. What behind all this?
Yeah.
This real landscape and whatever's going on here just now, trees or something probably.
Should I duck up?
I'm going to say waves or something.
So how would you describe your music?
It depends kind of us personally. I think we all have different takes on it. Jamie and I have always kind of used the progressive rock, progressive post-rock kind of tag, I suppose, because it doesn't immediately limit you to a set sound or set genre, and because we have such varied taste in music, and now we have 3 songwriters in the band, with the addition of Rob in the last couple of years, there's a lot of different influences coming in to form, we hope, a cohesive sort of sound. So the prog thing always has been easier because it means we don't have to repeat ourselves if we don't want to.
I think it's kind of emo for sci-fi nerds.
Okay, I'm good with that. Sci-fi emo, basically an emo band. We're basically an emo band with delay pedals and pretentious. We'll go with that.
What kind of influences do you guys bring to the band and showcase through your music?
I think from myself, it's a weird one because it's so different now from what it was when we started. Just growing up listening to a lot of stuff like Soundgarden and Alice in Chains and things like that, and then more recently getting into stuff through what Steve's introduced me to, like more modern kind of emo stuff, Bliss, Microwave, stuff like that, and listened to far too much Appleseed Cast when I was like 18, 19 years old, and just like a good sad boy.
Good sad, but Pedro the Lion as well.
Oh, hunters of Pedro the Lion.
Jamie's forgetting all his favourite bands under pressure. It's really funny. What bands do I like?
I don't know about music. What is sound? Yeah, loads of Pedro the Lion. Anything David Bazan does, I'm happy with. It's all great. Pedro the Lion, Low Tom, Headphones.
There we go.
There we go.
There you
I've
go.
remembered them all now.
There we go. Give him a kickstart.
Yeah. Mostly Pedro the Lion. Steve?
A lot of stuff for myself, I guess, in a more progressive spectrum. Oceanside, who are a band from the UK that are sadly no longer with us. Their frontman does his own solo project called Venart, and he also plays with Biffy Clyro. But I grew up kind of playing in more post-hardcore bands, I suppose. So bands like At the Drive-In, Glassjaw, Rival Schools, Quicksand, Refused, all that sort of stuff was super influential on me in my younger years. And then again, as Jamie kind of blagged, as we would say in Scotland, which just means stole my thing, like bands like Soundgarden, Pearl Jam, Jeff Buckley, Alice in Chains growing up, that led on to more eclectic stuff like Bjork and Tori Amos and pretty wide ranging stuff. Rob, purely Madball and bands who sound like Madball. Rob's just straight up Toronto hardcore from Dundee. That's his bag. That's just two-stepping his way into 2020. Rob likes all kinds of cool stuff as well. Some of the bands we mentioned.
Does anything from the classical progressive rock era come into your listenings?
You better not say Rush.
I was just about to say Rush. About to say Rush. I love Rush.
Jamie's,
early Genesis.
You were going to say Genesis.
Early
is a big
Genesis.
one,
Yeah. Pretty much everything up to Wind and the Wuthering. It's so good.
I'm into some kind of earlier U2 stuff. I know that's maybe not super prog, but he's got some delays, right?
He's got delays.
And we've been described as U2 gone screamo, which is perhaps my favourite excellent / terrible classification ever.
The worst elevator pitch.
No, it's pretty good, man.
That's
U2 goes screamo. That's just going to be the tagline in our next press kit. But yeah, there's some classic prog influences like Pink Floyd stuff, and that's really cliched. There must be other stuff. ELP, that's like my girlfriend's dad. Hey Mark, if you're watching this, ELP's like his favourite band, and my uncle introduced me to a lot of, not even necessarily prog, but like stuff like Rainbow and Deep Purple and all that kind of stuff.
I'd say Deep Purple.
Really
you can
young.
definitely Deep Purple definitely are in that prog, especially
when I was like 7 or 8 years old. I heard that stuff, so I guess that's probably an early influence, even subconsciously.
I think my dad played an absolute ton of Pink Floyd when I was a kid. Only when my mum was out of the house, she hated it.
Do you know what's sad? You guys are in Canada and you didn't even mention boy band.
I don't know what you're talking about.
We mentioned Rush. End.
That's our Canadian
That's it.
prog.
Rush.
Out of the way.
So I asked this question to a lot of artists, especially prog ones. You kind of mentioned it when you were talking about your music, but what is your interpretation of progressive music?
Yeah, me?
Either or. Do you want to go?
Yeah, I'll go.
You go.
Because I feel you might not have an answer.
What?
To us, we spoke about this in a previous interview a couple of days ago. The term prog and progressive is obviously very open to interpretation. I guess for us, it's just having the freedom to be able to do what you want creatively. So if we want to write an ambient EP or an ambient record, right through to something super heavy, if we want to write 11-minute songs with nothing that repeats itself, or if we want to write a 4-minute song that's a more of a kind of pop structure, that's being prog, like being able to do what you want and not staying the same through your whole career. Like again, Soundgarden being an orthodox example of a band I consider quite progressive. As much as Rob will growl at me, Radiohead are another band that started off as a pretty boring indie band, and then became wicked experimental, and then they've changed their whole career. So a lot of artists and bands that people don't associate as quote unquote prog, I look at it slightly differently. I take it more literally.
I think a lot of people get stuck in that kind of, Pink Floyd, Genesis, Yes, even like Dream Theater.
Yeah.
They think that that's the only way prog can be, which I think is nonsense. It can be whatever you want it to be, as long as you're, continually changing, evolving, pushing your own sound.
As long as it's 5/4, it's prog.
Yeah.
Basically.
If it's in 5/4, it's definitely prog.
Nice. Why don't we go let you guys play another
That's a
song?
nice link. It's a song that has 5/4 in it. Nailed it.
What song are you guys gonna play?
This is the opening song from our record. It's called As Yet Unwritten.
Nice. So here's Atlas Empire here on CFRU 93.3 FM.
Stone shore broke the
will forget that it's the end of the world as he turned. We will not learn. But what's next? Is this yet written? Ties that pass, ties that deter, march to gore, march to land. But as we said, we will forget. It's not the end of the world as the turn. We will relearn what it means to be human. We're lost and alone, so we run out.
You're listening to the Sentinel's Marvelous Kaleidoscope here on CFRU 93.3 FM with Atlas Empire. Where does that name come from, actually? Because it's an interesting way you have it texted as well, because there's a colon in there.
Thank you for noticing. You'd be amazed how many people forget the colon. It's important.
I think technically the name of the band is Atlas Empire. With that length
Oh, a
of
little pause in there.
I
Who
mean,
knows?
perhaps it might have just been something that we put in there for symmetry a bunch of years ago.
Probably.
Could have been, but it needs to be there. It's part of the name. So any promoters or anyone printing a poster and you don't put the colon in, you're going to hear from our lawyer. John Asher, our lawyer. The name kind of came from, the part of it originated from a song title in one of my previous bands. And the idea behind it was because Jamie and I were starting a new project and we kind of wanted to just write whatever music came to us. We didn't want to be limited by genre or any of that other kind of stuff we spoke about. We felt that name gave that scope, kind of carving out new territory or something vaguely pretentious.
I think it was also the fact that it sounded big but it also didn't sound like as soon as you hear the name, you know what you're gonna get. You know, like if you call a band Bleeding Goat, you've got a good idea of what they're going to sound like.
Ska band, right?
Yes.
Cool.
Absolutely.
Bleeding Goat was on the short list, but we decided with Atlas Empire, we feel 8 years on we might have made the right decision. But yeah, I guess that was part of it, not having a name that conjured up an immediate preconception. And there's a kind of grand spectacle to it, and as I said, you know, prog and pretentious and delay pedals and stuff. So U2, Gone Screamo.
Yeah, I get that sense as well because, well, Atlas and Empire are really large concepts as well, which I guess actually a lot of your songs are based on concepts, which we can get into now. You've released a few EPs, and just last year, your full-length album. You want to talk about those?
Well, the first EP was very much a bunch of songs that you're working on at the beginning, as with any band. You know, you want to get something recorded, you want to get something out there, and I don't think there wasn't really an overarching theme so much in place at first. It was just whatever was the best, strongest songs that we were going to put onto records, and then very quickly we started developing these thematic ideas, especially with Somnus, the second EP, and then again with the full length with the Stratosphere Beneath Our Feet. And
For the Satellites, the third EP that came in between that you just couldn't remember the name of.
Oh no, I could remember the name of it.
You just chose not to speak of it.
No, I chose not to speak of it because For the Satellites is an odd one, because it was kind of when we're trying to record Stratosphere for the first time.
Yeah, true.
And these are a bunch of the songs that we recorded, and there is, one just Hostess that's on both of them?
No, two, Jimmy. Reflex
is on there as well.
It's good when one of your co-founders knows your track listing.
I haven't listened to that since it came out.
Fair, okay. But yeah, thematic stuff has come into the fore quite early on in the band. Somnus that Jimmy mentioned, our second EP, which is from 2013, was about different layers of sleep and how that correlated to, I guess, consciousness and death and coma. But then, yeah, the main kind of theme that we've been writing around, not with newer stuff, I might add, we're writing for a second record just now, and that's not themed around the technological advancement and death of humanity as a result, but the Stratosphere Beneath Our Feet is a concept album. Loosely, it draws on a lot of personal experience and stuff as well, albeit shrouded in metaphor. But yeah, the idea behind it was kind of every song is written from the perspective of a different individual character, if you will, not really living through the same chain of events around a global technological collapse.
Okay,
it's pretty straightforward stuff. Just boy meets girl, girl meets boy, girl turns into a robot, Earth collapses,
world ends.
Usual
some
stuff.
People are left.
Usual stuff.
And what do we do once it's all over?
So what are some of, or could you give me some examples of like what some of the songs and like you said, like kind of how, like the characters?
I'd honestly rather not.
Okay.
Oh, you want the audience to interpret it?
It's open to interpretation.
I think you get more out of it not knowing what we
we're talking about.
You know what I mean. It's that odd place where as soon as you put something artistic out into the world, whether you like it or not, it no longer belongs to you. It belongs to the listener, and they should interpret it the way they see fit. And if they don't interpret it the same way we interpret it, that's fine.
I was going to say they're wrong because we wrote the songs.
Well, yeah,
what the first one?
The first one, yeah, yeah.
Okay, so then the overall arching concept then with the technological, what was it again? Like technological takeover then collapse? Kind
of like sort of pushing things only slightly into the future where humans are completely reliant on all forms of technology and automation. Kind of something we've witnessed over the last, you'll have had this yourself, where you go out for a meal or dinner with a family member or a friend you've not seen for 3 years and they have their nose on their phone all night and you wonder why you bothered. Like, as much as social networks can benefit, like long distance communication and like us speaking to you and arranging this was all done online, and that's great because you're in Guelph and we're in Glasgow, but as a result, the kind of converse of that is a lot of face-to-face interaction and actual human interaction has suffered, I think, in real life. So we just decided to push that to the kind of illogical extreme, I suppose. But yeah, it's not too far. It's not too far-fetched. I could see it happening.
So this is the album is kind of your reaction and what you've seen in real life.
Kind of, but pushed to more radical extremes.
It's a sort of speculative fiction.
I guess, yeah.
All right. So you did mention also that you have 3 songwriters now in the band. How do you guys? How is the songwriting process, and is there any? I guess there would be some tension between all of you.
I mean, not really so far. Like, because he's gesticulating in the corner. You can probably see him dying to speak. Because Rob joined the band just over 2 years ago, the songs that were going to be on the Stratosphere were already written and kind of decided, essentially. He joined and contributed bass and wrote variations on parts, whether we asked him to or not. And but Rob, predominantly, first and foremost, is a guitar player more so than a bass player. He does both, but he had a bunch of stuff. He had ideas from prior to being in Atlas, and then I think in the time since joining us, wrote a bunch of stuff. And he was kind of denied the agency, I suppose, to play those songs live for a long time, as he would probably put it. I'm sure you've used that term before. It's the thing people from Dundee say. I don't get it. But we're now actually on this tour. We're playing 3 songs that are Rob's predominantly, which will be on the next record. So no, it's been pretty hassle free so far. The problem being Jamie's a really prolific writer, Rob's a really prolific writer, and I'm really lazy. So I've got literally like 1 song for the next record because I wasn't expecting us to be doing it so soon. But these guys are vying for whose song we learn next. But no, it's been great. Like, it's been good to have a different perspective. Good to have a different perspective from a Dundonian in the band.
He just loves getting complimented. I mean, look at that smug grin on his face. But yes, they're good songs, Rob. Well done.
It's been
What else
good.
do I do well?
That's all he does well. The only thing Rob does is write pretty okay songs.
So there's nothing else.
Nothing else. No.
No.
That's his only redeeming feature.
That, and he's quite a good cook.
Yeah. He has really nice cheekbone structure.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
You didn't talk about like my perfectly symmetrical top arch or teeth.
Okay. Well, we can get into Rob's physical attributes later on. But from a songwriting point of view, no, there's not really been any tension. Like, I think we're quite good at collaborating on that one. To be honest, I don't know why he's laughing. No, there hasn't been. No.
I mean, it's easy to collaborate when I say play this.
Yeah, true.
No, you're playing it wrong.
Yeah, true.
Great. So you are working on a new album then?
Yes.
Your sophomore album.
We are. Yeah. We're very much in. We've been writing in bits and pieces for a while now, because, as I said, Stratosphere was recorded over 2 years ago.
And some of the songs are 8 years old.
Yeah. Some of the songs have been around for a long, long time. But so having another songwriter in the band has pushed things forward. We've also recently signed with a record label called Wormhole Death.
Oh, nice. Are they based in?
They're based in Italy, but they have offices in New York and Tokyo, Oslo, so they're international now. So as a result of that, the Stratosphere Beneath Their Feet's been reissued through Wormhole Death this month, October 25th actually, and then we'll be writing a new records in full and recording new records, working with them from the ground up. So their involvement, and they came out of nowhere and just came to the band through their own means. They found us basically, so that's awesome. And we're writing a second record, I guess, sooner than we planned to because of that. But we have a wealth of really strong material.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, man.
Well,
so you'll
congratulations.
be able to hear some more new music soon.
Yeah.
And if you come see us on this tour, we have 4 shows left. You get to hear a bunch of new songs.
Oh, that's awesome.
But you need to come see us live. We're not going to do it today. Sorry.
Oh,
We can't.
Sorry, man. We can't.
Label says no.
actually, well then let's talk a bit about your live performances. You are currently on tour here in Canada.
We are.
4th time.
Yeah.
That's awesome. You guys really must love Canada.
Yes. Very much so.
It's amazing. Like, the first time we came here was in November of 2017, and we booked the tour really last minute, I think with like 6 weeks to go, because a friend of Rob's from Toronto agreed to put us on a couple of showcases at Indie Week Festival, not realising Rob now lived in Glasgow and not still in Toronto.
Oh,
So we kind of flash booked a tour. We played Guelph on that tour, right?
Yeah, we did.
We played at District in Guelph, RIP. And yeah, we love it here. People are super receptive. We play with amazing bands of all different genres. Canadian musicians are really, really hardworking, really receptive, very welcoming. So we've been here now 4 times in 23 months.
Yeah. Met some amazing people.
Yeah, we play here as much or more than we play at home now. So that's wicked.
and that's
Thank
saying
you guys.
something.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
Maybe you guys should move over here now.
Don't even tempt us.
Don't think we haven't spoken about this.
I've been trying to convince the few human beings that care about me that would come with me. One of them's a cat, actually. So trying to convince the one other human being that gives a vague about me and my cat to move. So I'm working on it. I'll convince them eventually.
So you, I guess, here in Guelph, you'll be performing later this week, Thursday, October 24th, at the Red Papaya Thai and Grill
Correct.
in downtown Guelph. I have the information here with Islands and
Empires.
Empires.
They have part of our name.
Oh,
Come on, guys.
Casador.
Yep.
And Autumn Kings.
Yes.
How do you find I guess you've played Guelph a few times. How do you find the Guelph scene and the artists here?
I mean, it's a weird one. Like I think most of these bands, I think it's only Islands and Empires that are from Guelph, from what I understand. It's been good. Like it's been another place that's been super receptive to us. Yeah, I mean, we wouldn't keep coming back if we didn't enjoy it. We'd just surpass you guys for somewhere else. So no, it's cool that the scene here is good. We would like to meet some more local bands. We've met a few. We've played with a few of the same bands each time we've been, so we've never played with any of these 3 bands before, so that's exciting. We've never played that venue before. I love Thai food, so what's not to like? Just need to make sure we don't eat too near the set.
Yeah, don't eat too much or you'll be bloated for that.
Afterwards, always afterwards. Never overeat before we play a show.
All right. I guess we're getting close to the end of this very short session. You've already mentioned your new album that you're working on. Is there anything else in the future that you can sneak a peek for us? Or what are the other tours or other tour dates in this Canadian tour?
In the Canadian tour, yeah, so we're a day off tomorrow. We're over at the Green Bean Cafe in Windsor on Wednesday. As you mentioned, we're at Red Papaya here in lovely Guelph on Thursday. Then we're out in Ottawa on Friday, because I just skipped Friday's a day that exists. We're playing a place called Prest on Friday in Ottawa, and Brasserie Beaubien in Montreal on Saturday. And that's the end of the tour. So we've done 4 shows, we have 4 left.
Oh, right in the middle.
Yeah, right in the middle.
Nice. I guess that'll be it from me. How can our listeners and viewers find your music and interact with you online?
Well, you can come to the Facebook, the Instagram, you just look for Atlas Empire. If you want to hear some music, we've got the Bandcamp, atlasempire.bandcamp.com. We've got, I can't hear, Rob's mouthing things at me, and I don't understand them. Spotify is always, is always
all the social medias, that was a distraction.
Okay.
The album's getting re-released on the 25th of this month, as I mentioned, so it's not on streaming services at the moment. It's been released through our new label Wormhole Death. From the 25th, that'll be on all your streaming services by next weekend. By this weekend. Well, yeah.
Great, guys. Thank you again for coming into the studio and being on the show.
Thanks for having us. Appreciate it.
Let's close out with one more song performance. What song will you guys be playing?
What's up? Play Waves already. Played that one first.
We did, yeah.
Hostess?
Yeah. So we're going to do Hostess,
We're going to quickly tune up.
Also
Right.
from the Stratosphere Beneath Their Feet.
Nice. So while you tune up, I will exit. I'll do my outro then. Well, Atlas Empire, thank you again for coming on the show. This has been the SMK, the Sentinel's Marvelous Kaleidoscope at CFRU 93.3 FM in Guelph, Ontario, through the web on CFRU.ca and on CFRU's YouTube channel. Keep informed with the show on Facebook and Twitter, both at SMK Radio Program. I'm your Master Overseer, Nicholas Cooper. Until next we behold, prog on, and look inward and beyond. And here, finishing off this session, Atlas Empire with Hostess.
Unbridled for an hour, unburdened and reborn, alone, still screaming, no! We can't hold back anymore. And the sweat shows, and all it feels to make me whole is seeping from my bones. Oh, the leopard sheets below, moving flesh and bone. And what is worth, I'm about to show. Through the crowd between every syllable, but there's no repeating. And I know. And what is worth, oh my God. Everywhere the fire around me is a mirror. Can't give it the starts and cannot help make everything less clear. And it breathes contempt as resentment that shows when I'm gone. And you cut it all till it resonates.